You're good to go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this special meeting of the Inland Wetlands Commission to order on February 10th, 2025 at 7:04 p.m. Good enough? All right, great. Let's see. Call this to order. Let's do some introductions. We'll start on the screen.
Nicholas Jordan, Commissioner and Vice Chair.
Thank you. Danielle Monroe, Chair.
Pat Pear for alternate.
Kevin Seaman, Commissioner. Dave McCollum, Inland Wetlands Agent.
Amanda Martinez, Recording Secretary.
Thank you very much. Let's see, we have just one item on our agenda this evening, which would be old business. It's 41 Dodging Town Road, discussing potential regulated activity along within East Swamp Brook. Would you like to start, or should I offer?
I leave it up to you.
Do you have anything that you would like to start us off with tonight?
I just sent gave you a letter
Great.
from an engineer.
I'm sorry. I forgive you. Forgive me, please. Would you mind stating your name and your address for the record?
Bruce Pierce, 41 Dodging Town Road.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nico, we just got this hard copy this evening. Otherwise, I would have had it up on the Google Drive.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Would you like me to read it aloud? Because I can do that.
Yeah, wait, what are we talking? What is it?
So, Mr. Pierce just submitted a hard copy of correspondence he has from Benjamin Dotto regarding brick retaining wall interim repair opinion, 41 Dodging Town Road, North Wall, and I quote, "Dear Bruce, at your request, I visited the site yesterday, February 5th, 2025, to review the condition of the subject wall and your plan for an interim repair. It is my opinion that the following sequence will adequately serve as a temporary repair until the wall is someday replaced. Dam and divert north side of brook with sandbags and/or a temporary pipe during a dry spell. Remove loose rubble and soil between base of the existing concrete footing and ledge/solid ground. Form and pour concrete in void. Remove concrete forms. Armor concrete repair with a plus or minus 2 foot diameter boulders and/or concrete blocks extending into eroded stream bed, and remove sandbags and diversion pipe. If dislodged or shifted due to heavy stream flow, the boulders and blocks you intend to use do not pose a risk of traveling plus or minus 1,100 feet downstream onto neighbors' properties. They can easily be repositioned as such if necessary. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or need additional information. Sincerely, Benjamin V. Dotto III, P.E." End quote.
And he is a consulting civil engineer, according to his letterhead. Yes.
I guess so, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Board before.
Yeah, Mr. Dotto, last he was before this board was for a subdivision, and that would have been back in 2017 for the first parcels off of the entrance to, what is it? What a mess up the name of it. Cortland Drive, the subdivision.
Oh, Applewoods.
Applewoods, thank you. Got it.
Random information. Okay, cool. Thank you for submitting this and getting it for us. Did you have more that you wanted to add beyond this?
No,
Okay.
not really.
Thank you. Dave, did you have some comments?
I do have some. It's not much, but I will share it all the same. So, as promised, I dived through 112 some odd years of records in the clerk's office. These are all the persons who have owned your property in that time. And if you'd like to cross-check what I found in the clerk's office, I have the volumes and pages, and you can take a look at the deeds, but they're all pretty much boilerplate, i.e. they make reference to a parcel that's located in the Elmwood district, or that's what it was called back then in Bethel, 15 acres more or less, with similar bounds throughout each parcel description. For every quitclaim and deed that I looked at in that span of time, I looked for references for any other maps or any other documents that may shed light on the particular area of property that is in question. The only thing I found of note so far, I will put it up on the screen, and I did have it in the Google Drive for tonight's meeting if you guys want to take a look at it for future
Couldn't
reference.
make heads or tails of it. It's all-
Right, right. It is a bit confusing, and without having the context for this list that I gave you, it's understandable why. Just bear with me here. I'll get this up and running. Hopefully the resolution cooperates with us because this map is very old. What window do we want to go to here? Yes. Okay. Can everybody see this?
Oh, geez.
Yep.
Okay. So this, here's a hard copy if you guys want to follow along. This is a record map back from when the State Highway Department, as it was called back then, was making improvements to what had just become monikered as US Route 202 before it was transferred to a different alignment further north out of Danbury. The part that's in question is here in the lower left-hand corner, close to where you guys see the name Josephine P. Anderson.
Mhm.
As we get closer here, some of this stuff you might be able to recognize. Okay. Everybody can still see this on my screen, right? I don't know if you guys can see.
I'm
it.
looking at.
Let me see if I can bring up my cursor so you guys can follow along. Entire screen. There we go. And it's gonna tell me, there we go.
Something on 1937.
All right, can everybody see is my cursor visible up there on the screen?
Yep.
Is it? Excellent, okay. So here's Josephine Anderson. She owned the property, or she bought the property rather, in 1937. This map was produced in 38 when the DOT was making improvements. This right here, when I'm highlighting, well, sorry.
Trying to.
That you're trying to highlight?
Yeah,
I don't think you can do sectional highlight.
yeah, thank you. Where my cursor is, that is Bruce Pierce's house. Okay, or as it was when it existed back in the 30s. This structure back here, where my cursor is now, is the garage.
Got it.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
so immediately out front, this is the culvert here where my cursor is. Okay, where East Swamp Brook goes out beneath Route 302, and then there's a line type that kind of curves off towards the upper left. That section is the retaining wall. And then you see the water course daylight with the bold line shortly thereafter. So,
Yep.
So here's the culvert.
Yep.
Here's the retaining wall on both sides.
And daylight.
Here's where the stream daylights. Okay. This is the earliest reference that I have found that shows this, you know, and I think this roughly reflects what's out there now. So I looked through high and low for any other maps that make reference to that area. There's only one file drawer before this one. This is file 2. So I'd be hard pressed to think there would be any other maps that go to as clear detail as this. I mean, for the 30s, this is pretty impressive, you know, as far as engineered drawings go. What this doesn't show is anything from the state that would have to do with the maintenance of that retaining wall. Now, I'm not saying that to suggest that nothing exists. And to that end, I put out an email to I forget what it was, the general FAQ hotline or whatever you want to call it for the DOT, essentially saying, hey, I went through all of your records to find out what bridge number this is, which I think is 02038. And I have questions about what's going on with the retaining walls. I mean, both sides are of interest ultimately, but the prompt for this is the one on Bruce's side. If this is the map that I found, it appears to be the earliest record that shows A, Condot's right of way, and B, the retaining wall itself. If you guys have anything older that makes reference to a Torrington Bridge or any other group or any easement or any language regarding the retaining wall, not the culvert, just the retaining wall, please let me know, because we have a property owner that's keen on trying to get that fixed. It's in a state of disrepair, and we want to make sure that he goes through the appropriate process to do that. I haven't heard anything in the time since I sent that email. I don't know how long it will take for them to get back. I don't know if the email I sent went down a rabbit hole to nowhere. If I had more contacts in this building to reach out to DOT, I would have exhausted them already. But a lot of that knowledge and experience, at least at DOT's ends, has since retired. So I'm trying to reinvent those connections to get up there. It takes time. Hopefully I'll make more progress. I don't want to, I don't want to make any presumptions that they're not going to help, but we have another regular meeting in 2 weeks. I would say, I would ask you all, give me that time to go through and at least try to have a dialogue with the DOT so I can exhaust that option first. It's good that you have a letter from Mr. Dodo. I will say this letter speaks more to the construction phase than it does any other phase regarding statutes or the process to get to construction itself. If I could have an opportunity to speak with Ben, I think that would be productive for me to get some understanding for where he's coming from. I don't know if Ben's expecting any follow-up from either you or myself on this. But if I had that opportunity to reach out to him, I would certainly do that. But I wouldn't want to do that without your permission.
You're more than welcome.
Okay. So, do you guys have any questions?
Yes, probably people do. I just want to clarify a couple things.
Sure.
Amanda, I apologize. This is out of order, but I would like to go ahead and seat Pat if I can at this moment.
Actually, you
Can I
don't
or can I not?
You
Because
don't
he's not
have
voting,
to.
but he can still participate in the.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, never mind then. Forget it, Pat. You're unseated. Okay. And second of all, I wanted to clarify that the purpose for the discussion tonight is to gather information. My understanding, and you're going to correct me if I have it wrong, because ultimately what we have to decide, whether it's tonight or at our next meeting, is whether or not we are going to ask Bruce to pursue a formal application or whether this is within right of use. Is that not what we are discussing?
Right. I mean, we went through to some degree what your regulations cover regarding permitted uses as of right.
Thank you. That's the one way.
That's okay. You
So-
guys can certainly review those again on your own. I think the language in here is pretty black and white in that regard. But if this board feels differently, or if there's a different interpretation as to how those regs could be read, excuse me, I think it's worth you hashing that out and coming to a definitive determination or conclusion. There you go. At least for what process to go.
So unless I'm missing pieces, because, late at night, brain tired.
Not here.
My understanding of where we left it at the end of our last meeting 2 weeks ago was that was the main issue that we needed to address. And we wanted to give you some clarification on if we're going the permit route, the application route, excuse me, what we would need from you in order to have that be a full application that could be reviewed so that we're not wasting time. Because I know that there's a expediency issue, and also so that you could, have all the information you need to make a decision on how you want to proceed. So yes.
That's right.
And the reason I wanted to clarify that is because I don't want to be here all night hashing through every detail of how he's going to, potentially proceed, but rather just to stick to the.
Yeah, I think you would be getting I think you would be putting the cart before the horse if you really got into the weeds. You really want to stick to fundamentals at this point of
Right.
what things should look like and why they're needed, not so much, the technical stuff. I know, or just by the nature of Ben's letter here, it seems to speak to a pretty specific procedure
Yep.
to follow. If this is the only thing that's needed, then it's good that we already have this, but we haven't decided that yet. So I will add this to this commission's record
Right.
for all the information that we have today. If you guys want me to have all the Schedule A's, just so you know, Bruce, this is the most recent one that is attached to your deed. When you bought the property in '96, they all pretty much look like this. But if you guys want me to go through, because I already have all the pages, if you want me to scan these all and have them just so you can look at them, just so that you all know that they're pretty much the same, I can do that. But apart from that, I'm really just waiting to hear from the DOT at this point. And I don't know what their time schedule is. But hopefully between now and the 24th, when I believe your next meeting is scheduled, we would have some kind of dialogue.
And are you still waiting to hear back from anyone else that you had reached out to, or have you gathered all the information that you're
I
going to gather?
called Torrington Bridge again, and they're a maintenance company. They're the ones that maintain the bridge.
Got it. Okay.
I called them twice this week, and the secretary every time says, we'll have them call you.
So you're still waiting to hear back from
Yeah,
them?
he won't call me back.
Well,
I know he won't.
So
let me ask if I may, not to boast that I am a town employee, but sometimes if someone gets a call from someone like myself,
Sure.
it's another part for them to respond.
Yeah.
Do you have any contact information?
I think I have it here. No, but I'll call you tomorrow with it.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be very helpful for me.
Yeah, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Dave, question for you.
Yes,
Is there anything, not a lien or anything like that, is there anything that could be put on this section of road that if any work is done on this bridge, then it has to come in front of the town and they have to repair the wall permanently from the state? Not that's why I don't want to say a lien on property, but a lien on the road or something where no work can be done unless once you touch A, you got to do B.
Right. Well, so the state has its own standards for which it gets to live by.
And
And let me just, because I want to make sure I'm speaking correctly here.
I think we just got to be cognizant. Mr. Pierce is trying to repair this and it's hitting every roadblock that could be put in front of him because one department does one thing, another department does anything. God forbid something happens and every department is going to point at each other. And the only one who's trying to fix it is this gentleman here.
Right.
But he's stuck in this vacuum that he can't get out of. And he's produced a letter that we asked him to produce. So I think we have to be cognizant of that when he's up against and trying to repair. I think if nothing is done, there is a hazard to the road. I mean, don't get me wrong, a little rain ain't gonna, but if you have another huge storm or something, other bridges have washed out for less. And all of a sudden, you're gonna get a lot of finger pointing going on.
I don't know, because for the photographs that I have taken,
Right.
and for the photographs that Nico took when he went out to the property with Mr. Pierce, which I added those to the Google Drive. There doesn't appear to be a bona fide head wall in the traditional sense, similar to the ones where you saw those blowouts in the photographs, especially along Route 34 and Route 67 in Oxford. I would hope that would not happen in this case. I don't know how localized the impacts would be if the retaining wall were to suddenly fail. But in terms of the repair process, the answer that I wanted to get to you is that for activities that are undertaken by state departments, that is any state department, they're exclusively regulated by DEP.
Okay.
So they go right up the food chain to the DEEP.
Has anyone been out to look at this at all?
Torrington Bridge was out, yes.
When was this?
Probably 2 months ago.
Okay.
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 And they didn't give you any feedback?
They said,
Yeah, they called me back and they said, no, it's not on our property. We're not responsible for the retaining wall.
And what information are you waiting to hear back from them?
I wanted to touch base with them again because it doesn't make sense to me
Yeah.
that you can build a bridge and build a retaining wall and say that the retaining wall is not their problem.
So are you stating that the retaining wall that you're looking to repair was originally built by Torrington Bridge?
Correct. No, Torrington Bridge is a maintenance company. They inspect and repair.
Gotcha.
That's what they do.
Yeah. So none of the records that I have gone through allude to who built the original culvert or the retaining walls for that matter. This engineer's plan or this map that I show is the earliest record that exists, but it doesn't say who actually went out to do the work or who's responsible for maintenance thereafter. So I'm just as curious as everyone else here is in this room as to okay, you have this map that obviously shows this, dating back to 1938. Someone had to have built this, before this map was made for it to be shown, as substantially complete as it is then.
right. All I'm saying, I don't know which way to go with it, except the permit wise, use wise. I'm just saying this gentleman's stuck in this whirlpool. He's trying everything he can to get this done, and
Right.
including now at his own expense.
Right.
God forbid something happens to this major true fair that takes a while to repair or damage something or hurt anybody. Then you're going to get a lot of finger pointing out.
Well,
And so I just want to put on record, this
Right.
gentleman's come forward.
No.
It's like, hey, we're
No,
fine here.
I understand that. So this is where if ever anything happens between now and whenever, and when we
There's a
meet
resolution.
or
Right.
I can at least say, hey, I tried to put the ball in Condot's court. I reached out to them on this issue.
Exactly.
I made them aware that it's
Yep.
something that's urgent that needs to be,
Yep.
Attended to by somebody. And if you're going to say that you're not responsible, put something in writing that speaks to
And-
that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think in the next storm next year or whatever, it's gonna affect anything, but over time,
We don't
Well,
have any
no,
way of knowing that.
no.
exactly.
I don't want to say that
Right.
because we just had a 1,000-year storm last year.
I know.
And just because, you had that last year doesn't mean, it's going to be at least another 999 years until the next one in 1,000-year storm happens.
Yep.
I would rather not tempt that risk.
I agree.
So,
So we have no control over the weather.
Right.
Left my crystal ball at home.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Again, I'm just saying the gentleman's produced a letter that we asked. him to
yeah,
produce.
yeah,
And that has to be, this whole situation has to be considered when going through this whole deciding which process to go by.
understood.
Fair. But do we have to decide what process tonight? Is that
No.
what, that's
No.
next, we're gonna do that with the next.
Yeah,
We want to give you time to reach out to DOT, so therefore we can take that into consideration as well.
Yes,
I think that,
I think it would be
Maybe getting a point.
premature to come to any resolution tonight without having input from DOT.
Agreed.
And as long as, and that doesn't impact you guys negatively, no, right? Okay.
So
Yeah.
I will do my best, whatever button I can find to press to get DOT's attention, I will do it.
So from my perspective, as far as I can see here, and you all will speak to what your perspectives are, I don't need anything else at this time other than just waiting to see how these different outreaches shake out. And I'm fine to wait till the next meeting.
Okay.
And push the
That way we-
decision
I
making.
agree.
I don't need input. Do you have any more questions or anything else that you guys wanted to hear?
No, we'd be beating a dead horse at this point. I mean, he's obviously, it's not, you did literally everything you could do at this point. Now let's see what DOT comes back with, and then you guys are gonna have to make a decision on course of action. I'm gonna have to abstain from that. So I'll help ask questions and get information as much as I can.
Nico, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask or contribute tonight?
Hey, yeah, sure. One thing, thanks, Dave, for taking time to delve into this.
Not a problem.
Cool map and good.
Bunch of dusty books.
And the only other thing I was going to suggest maybe is that I totally agree with finding out whether DOT and the state are going to chime in here. But maybe in the event that they don't, I was wondering if you could possibly look into if there's any funding, like related funding for infrastructure failures or problems like this, that maybe, you know, that we could put, or the applicant could put toward finding an engineer to help with the project, perhaps, because it does seem like a big enough infrastructure piece that I would feel more comfortable if we did have some sort of geotechnical or hydrologic engineer involved with the repairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be a financial burden that he dare not or may not need to share alone if there's stuff available, but I just don't know what or where or how to go about finding that. So I was kind of maybe hoping to task you, Dave, with it, if that's possible.
If there's anything that exists, I will present it at the next meeting.
Yeah, cool. And then also, did we have a site walk planned already?
For this property,
Yeah.
We have an application before us. Would it be appropriate to even?
I would
You
say
just want
that
to do a site walk? Or?
I would say that the photographs that have been taken so far are enough to work with at this point.
Okay.
You know, and if there are any extreme weather events that happen between now and then that can show, you know, how water behaves, as things are right now, I would be happy to go out there and take those photos or have Bruce send me those photos so you guys can get the reference. But at this point, I want to make sure we just focus on the area at hand, and without putting the cart before the horse, I want to keep things very fundamental at this point.
So maybe at some point in the future, that might be something appropriate, but
Yeah.
at the moment, we're just looking
Right.
to.
I just show up.
To what?
I'm not asking a question.
We're not really reviewing this as a project at the moment so much as we are.
Okay.
It's not
We're-
even,
I'd bring cookies.
it's not before us yet in that capacity. We don't have an application at this point. We're still reviewing how to proceed.
Right. Okay. Cool.
No, I'm okay with exactly as you proposed. I would want to hear DOT chime in, and
So
so
would I.
maybe you can leverage out on Torrington as well.
I will do my best.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
So, yeah,
Well, nothing I could do, but yeah, but I'm
no further comments.
definitely not. I mean, this is straightforward. If you ask me, we're just trying to pull every plug and pin that we can.
That's the idea.
Nico, anything further?
No, not if this is the stage that we're at. I don't know. Should I say on record, I did have a chance to go visit the site. And it was interesting to see.
Yeah.
And we have an issue to deal with.
Yep, Nico, I put the email you sent me with the photo attachments in the Google Drive, so. Yep.
Yeah.
Around for reference.
Yeah, that was just interesting. Bruce is, decided to show me just like the other side of the road, which was another section of the retaining wall.
Yes.
And I did have a structural collapse on the south side of Route 302,
Yeah.
just upriver, on the other side of the bridge. Whether that same wall construction is the same time period as the ones exactly on the other side, we may have to reconfirm that or something. I don't know. It seems
I
similar.
would suspect it is.
Yeah.
And if DOT ever gets back to me, I would bring this to their attention and say, hey, it's not just this side that you might want to look at. You might want to look at the other side too.
Well, this side hasn't seen the structural collapse yet, but without the trees there, it's interesting. It's hard to say whether keeping the tree, like there's no trees now. So that could cause more erosion, but also maybe not having the trees there isn't going to push the wall. The root systems aren't going to quite push the wall as much as that other example, which you can see big mature trees hard up next to that retaining wall there. So it's a pickle.
All right, so I guess what we would be looking for then for tonight is a motion to continue the conversation around this item of business to our next meeting on February 24th. Anyone wish to forward a motion?
Pat, I love it when you make motions.
Can he make a motion as an alternate?
If you want to see him for
Then
this,
you have to see me. Why don't you make the motion? You have to see me.
I am abstaining from.
Oh, okay. Nico, would
So
you like to make a motion that we
Yeah,
continue the
You're
conversation?
gonna have
Sure.
to see.
Sure
Yeah.
thing.
I'm gonna have to see him. All right,
I
hold
know
on,
it's
Nico.
painful.
Hold on.
Okay.
Amanda, can I go ahead and seat Pat for Laura? Thank you.
You're such a champ.
Am I supposed to give a reason for that?
No.
Okay. Great. That said, Nico, would you like to, can I invite you to make a motion?
Oh, yeah, sure. Motion to continue this
For discussion at our next meeting on February
table and
24th?
continue this discussion of 41 Dodgetown Road at our next regular meeting on February 24th. Did you say?
Okay.
February 24th.
Yep.
Okay. At 7
Your
p.m.
second from Pat, any discussion? All right, hearing none, let's go call it to a vote. Nico?
Aye.
Yeah, I say aye.
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries.
very good.
That
Sounds
is
good.
it.
Thank you.
Where's
Thank you
dinner?
for everything.
You're welcome, Bruce.
Texas Roadhouse. Nice.
Oh, very nice.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Great bread.
Very good,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Enjoy.
Thank you all. Thank you,
more like
Bruce.
Hold on, Nico, we're not closed yet.
Yeah, roger that.
Okay. That being said, I would entertain a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to
Good
adjourn.
night, thank you all. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
See
Thank
you in the morning,
you.
Carol.
You got it.
Don't get too routed.
Would you like to make a motion, Pat?
But I didn't. A motion to adjourn at 7:36, fast as ever.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Mile on second.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, I hear a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:37 PM.